In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on March 25, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Orlando Magic versus Charlotte Hornets. On Tuesday night, the Charlotte Hornets will welcome the Orlando Magic to the Spectrum Center for another showdown between these Eastern Conference rivals. This will mark the 4th time these two teams have faced off this season. So far, the Magic have dominated, winning all 3 prior matchups, and they hold a commanding 8-2 record straight up over their last 10 meetings. Additionally, the trend in these games has heavily favored the under, with 8 of those 10 contests finishing below the total. Orlando will once again be without Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, and Trevelyan Queen, continuing a season-long battle with injuries that has tested their depth. Despite those setbacks, they seem to have turned a corner, snapping out of a slump with back-to-back statement wins. On the other hand, the Hornets entered this game with a completely clean injury report, but have failed to capitalize on their health advantage all season. Their struggles hit a new low recently when they were blown out by the Miami Heat, a team that had just suffered through a 10-game losing streak. While the Magic are playing the second night of a back-to-back, their recent performances suggest they are finding their rhythm at the right time. Even though Orlando has looked much better over the past couple of games, I still have my doubts about trusting them fully. In fact, their win over the Lakers last night might set them up for a classic letdown spot. However, it's tough to argue in favor of the Hornets, a team that seems to have all but given up on competing this season. If the Magic are serious about securing the best playoff seed possible and making some noise in the postseason, this is the kind of game they should win handily. Given their recent form, the numbers also support them, as they have covered the spread in 5 of their last 6 outings. They are also 8-2 both straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games against Charlotte, including a comfortable 16-point victory just over a month ago. Even with the Hornets holding a rest advantage and playing at home, I'd need a much bigger spread to even consider backing them. As our first pick for this matchup, the Orlando Magic to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Defensive play has been the defining theme whenever these two teams go head-to-head, and the numbers back that up. The under has hit in 8 of their last 10 meetings, and every game between them this season has stayed below 210 total points. Both teams rank among the better defensive squads in the league, and their playing styles tend to lead to low-scoring affairs. Looking at Orlando specifically, the under is just 4-6 in their last 10 games overall, but they have allowed 110 points or fewer in 7 of those contests. Charlotte, meanwhile, has seen the under hit in 6 of their last 10, with their offense failing to reach 110 points in 8 of those games. Given those trends, another low-scoring game seems likely. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. I want to tell you guys about Kalshi, the only place where you can legally bet on real-world events in all 50 states. Kalshi lets you trade on almost anything. For March Madness, you can jump into markets predicting who will win and how far teams will go, and it's a whole new way to look at the odds, and it's all super easy to use. Sign up using my link in the description down below, and the first 500 people who trade 100 contracts get a $10 bonus. Don't miss out on this unique way to bet. Check out Kalshi today. San Antonio Spurs versus Detroit Pistons. The San Antonio Spurs, currently holding a 31-39 record and sitting at 13th place in the Western Conference, are gearing up for a matchup against the Detroit Pistons, who stand at 40-32 and occupy the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference. This game is set to take place on March 25th at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. The two teams have faced off once before this season, with the Pistons securing a 125-110 victory on the road back in February. This will be their final regular season meeting. San Antonio enters this game riding a wave of momentum after picking up their 3rd consecutive win, a dominant 123-89 road victory over the Toronto Raptors on Sunday. The Pistons, meanwhile, are also coming off a victory, having outlasted the New Orleans Pelicans in a high-scoring 136-130 battle at home. home. Both teams are looking to continue their positive stretches, but only one can come away with the win this time around. In terms of injuries, the Spurs will be without De'Aaron Fox and Charles Bassey, while Stephon Castle's availability remains uncertain as he is listed as questionable. On the other side, the Pistons are keeping a close eye on Cade Cunningham and Tim Hardaway Jr., both of whom are also listed as questionable for this contest. The absence or presence of these key players could play a major role in determining the outcome of this matchup. Detroit has been on an upward trajectory this season, making significant strides offensively. They currently rank 11th in the league in both scoring and field goal percentage, which has been a major factor in their success. Defensively, they are no slouches either, holding the 9th spot in field goal defense. This game presents a favorable matchup for them, as the Spurs are missing two of their primary scoring options in Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox. San Antonio has had a rough time defensively this season, ranking 23rd in points allowed per game and 25th in overall defensive efficiency. One of the biggest disparities between these two teams lies in rebounding. Detroit is one of the best in the league on the boards, currently ranked 3rd in total rebounds per game. San Antonio, however, has struggled in this area, sitting at just 24th in the league. This significant advantage on the glass could allow the Pistons to control possessions and dictate the pace of the game. While the Spurs are shifting their focus toward the upcoming NBA draft lottery, the Pistons are still battling for positioning in the Eastern Conference playoff race and have much more at stake in this contest. The last meeting between these teams took place on February 21st, with the Pistons cruising to a comfortable 125-110 victory on the road. While San Antonio has played better in recent games, the Pistons still have the upper hand heading into this one. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. San Antonio's defensive struggles have been even more apparent without Wembanyama anchoring the middle. Their inability to consistently get stops has led to an influx of high-scoring games, with 7 of their last 10 contests going over the projected total. Their defense is among the worst in the league, sitting at 23rd in scoring defense. However, one bright spot for the Spurs has been their ability to knock down three-pointers, ranking 9th in the league in three-point field goals made per game. Detroit has been a solid offensive unit all season, currently sitting at 11th in points per game. Their ability to crash the offensive board should give them plenty of second chance opportunities, which will likely boost their overall scoring output in this contest. Even with injuries affecting both teams, the offensive potential remains high. Over their last 10 games, neither team has been particularly effective on defense. The Pistons have allowed 114 points per game during this stretch, placing them 15th in the league, while the Spurs have been even worse, giving up an average of 122 points per game, ranking 26th in that span. Since the All-Star break, both teams have been efficient with their shot selection, with Detroit ranking 5th in true shooting percentage at 60.3% and San Antonio not far behind in 13th place with a 59.3% mark. Given these trends, the expectation is that this will be another high-scoring affair. The over has cashed in 7 of San Antonio's last 10 games, as well as in each of Detroit's last 3 outings. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Golden State Warriors versus Miami Heat. This interconference showdown is set to take place on the hardwood down in Florida as the Golden State Warriors travel to South Beach to take on the Miami Heat in what should be an intense Tuesday night battle. Golden State comes into this matchup fresh off a 124-115 road loss to the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday night. They entered that game as 2.5-point favorites but ultimately fell short, unable to get the job done. Meanwhile, Miami finally managed to snap a brutal 10-game losing streak with a much-needed 122-105 home victory over the Charlotte Hornets on Sunday night. The Heat were favored by 7.5 points in that game and comfortably covered the spread. Looking at the history between these two teams, Golden State holds a narrow edge in their all-time regular season series, leading 37-35. However, when they met earlier this season on January 7th, it was the Heat who walked away with a decisive 114-98 road win. Both teams enter this contest dealing with key injury concerns. The Warriors may once again be without their superstar guard Stephen Curry, as he remains listed as questionable. On the other side, Miami will be monitoring the status of Duncan Robinson, who is also questionable for this one. Miami has been nothing short of a disaster throughout this month, and while their victory over Charlotte was a step in the right direction, it doesn't suddenly erase all their problems. They've consistently blown big leads, made strange lineup adjustments, and at times have looked completely lost on the floor. Meanwhile, the Warriors have been thriving ever since Jimmy Butler came on board, and you can bet they'll be firing fired up for this one. Butler is making his first return to Miami since joining Golden State, which adds an extra layer of drama to the matchup. Curry's status remains uncertain, and it's hard to ignore the timing of his questionable designation after it initially seemed like he'd be out for an extended period. He could ultimately suit up, but even if he does, he likely won't be anywhere near full strength. Miami will have plenty of motivation, and with Andrew Wiggins playing, this is still a team capable of making some playoff noise. They've also been solid against the spread lately, covering in 3 straight games, including close losses to Houston and Detroit. Butler's return to Miami is sure to generate plenty of buzz, and there's a strong chance he gets booed by the home crowd, given how his departure played out. He spent weeks pushing for a trade, which ended up hurting the Heat's performance on the court. While they certainly miss his presence, Miami has remained a scrappy team. That said, Golden State has struggled to cover the spread lately, managing to do so in only one of their last 5 contests. Over their last 9 games, they are just 2-6-1 against the spread. Miami will undoubtedly come out with intensity in their first game against Butler, but trusting them remains difficult given how poorly they've played in recent weeks. Their lone bright spot was the win over Charlotte, which isn't exactly a high-quality victory. On the other hand, Golden State has been playing some of their best basketball of the season. Even if Curry ends up sitting this one out, I still believe they offer strong value as slight favorites. The Warriors will be playing with extra motivation to get this win for Butler, and with how shaky Miami has looked, I simply don't have much confidence in them at the moment. The line is reasonable. As our first pick for this matchup, the Golden State Warriors to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Golden State's offense has been firing on all cylinders recently, putting up an average of 115 points per game over their last 10 contests. That's an improvement of 1 point over their season-long scoring average, which speaks to how well they've been executing. The Warriors rank right in the middle of the league when it comes to pace of play, sitting 16th with 99 possessions per game. They also hold the 17th spot in offensive efficiency, making them an average but capable offensive team. Miami, on the other hand, has been struggling mightily to generate offense. Over their last 10 games, they've only managed to score an average of 103 points per contest. That's a significant 6 points below their full season scoring mark, highlighting just how inefficient they've been lately. On the defensive end, they've allowed 111 points per game during that same stretch. The Heat rank near the bottom of the league in pace, coming in at 28th with only 96.2 possessions per game. Their offensive efficiency isn't much better, ranking 23rd overall. One trend that stands out is that each of the last 4 meetings between these two teams has gone under the total. Given Miami's offensive struggles, it's hard to see this game being a high-scoring affair. This is going to be a gritty, physical battle between two teams that don't push the pace. Miami is currently 27th in the NBA in pace of play, while Golden State ranks 17th. Factor in the presence of Butler and a potentially limited Curry, both in their mid-30s, and it makes sense for this game to be played at a slower tempo than usual. Miami has also been a strong under team lately, staying under the total in 8 of their last 12 contests. Before their matchup with the Hornets, they had scored fewer than 100 points in 4 of their previous 5 games. Given all these factors, the under looks like the right play in this spot. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Dallas Mavericks versus New York Knicks. On Tuesday evening, the Dallas Mavericks will take on the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. This game comes as part of a busy stretch for both teams, though they are in slightly different situations heading into the matchup. Dallas is playing on back-to-back nights after taking the court on Monday, while the Knicks are coming in fresh after securing a win over the Washington Wizards. That extra rest could be a significant factor in this contest, especially with the Mavericks dealing with a string of injuries. The Mavericks are still missing several key players, which has made their rotation look thinner than they would like at this stage of the season. Kyrie Irving remains sidelined, along with Dante Exum and Daniel Gafford, all of whom play crucial roles in their lineup. On the other side, the Knicks have also had to navigate injuries, as Miles McBride and Jalen Brunson have both been ruled out once again. Dallas did get some good news with Anthony Davis returning to the floor in their Monday night victory over Brooklyn, but it remains unclear whether he will be available for this matchup on the second night of a back-to-back. Even if he plays, the Mavericks are at a clear disadvantage against a well-rested New York squad. The Knicks have a solid track record when they've had 2 to 3 days off, covering the spread in 8 of those 14 games. They also boast the league's 10th ranked scoring offense, while Dallas struggles on the defensive end, sitting at 18th in scoring defense. Even without Jalen Brunson, New York has enough offensive firepower with Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart to keep the points flowing. Meanwhile, the Mavericks have struggled against the spread when playing on the road, posting a 16 to 18 to 2 record, and they haven't been much better in games following a win, sitting at 15 to 18 to 1 in those situations. At this point in the season, it's tough to put any faith in the Mavericks, given how many players they are missing. They simply don't have the depth to keep up with a strong, well-rounded team like the Knicks. New York has a firm grip on the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, sitting 3 games ahead of the Indiana Pacers, and they'll be motivated to maintain that position. With the Mavericks dealing with injuries and playing on short rest, this game presents a prime opportunity for the Knicks to take care of business on their home court. As our first pick for this matchup, the New York Knicks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. If you're looking for a high-scoring affair, this game has all the makings of one. When the Mavericks have been an underdog on the road, the total has gone over in 18 of those 25 games. Similarly, when they have faced Eastern Conference opponents, the over has hit in 18 out of 23 contests. The Knicks have also shown a tendency to play high-scoring games in these situations, with the over cashing in 17 of the 32 games in which they were a home favorite. Additionally, when coming off a win, their games have gone over the total 24 times out of 43. Neither team is known for its defensive consistency, and both have had trouble locking down opponents for extended stretches. Dallas, in particular, plays at one of the fastest paces in the league, ranking 8th in tempo, which should lead to plenty of shot attempts and transition opportunities. Given all these factors, the scoreboard should see plenty of action throughout the night. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.